So we only have one episode left of the season where we'll finally find out who this is floating in the water next to Buddha and Zion. So I have thoughts about who I think this could potentially be, as well as who it is not. And then I have thoughts about how the season is going to end in general for different characters. So let's get into it. I want to start off the conversation dealing with Belinda, Greg, and Zion. So in the preview, it shows that Belinda is having a heated discussion at Greg's house again. Zion is there, and she said, "I'm not doing it. Let's go." Now it appears that she's turning down the money. I don't know if they showed up over there just to renegotiate or not, but it doesn't bode well for her. So essentially, Gayuk can start sending them people her way. Now, I don't think they're going to get to her though. The body type in the water is definitely not her. The hair texture, body type, the melanin, none of that matches her. Also, I don't think Zion would have backed up in the water first episode had he found out that it was actually his mom. So I know that's not her. But you know who it could be though? Pornchai. We haven't seen Brother Pornchai in a minute. He could come out and try to protect her and get caught in the crossfire. So I'm going to keep him on the board, but I'm taking Belinda off. Now, I'm hoping this isn't the case because I like Pornchai and I was hoping him and Belinda would have worked out. But I wish Belinda would have just called the cops when she had the chance. And I'm hoping that's what she does after she gets into that heated conversation at Greg's house. So let's bounce over to the Ratliff crew. So in the preview, we see Tim talking to Pam and he's asking about that fruit that she told Saxon not to consume. She said it's poisonous and leave it alone. So Tim is asking about that particular fruit. And he was like, "What did you say about this fruit?" And Pam was like, "The locals call it the thuathide tree. So don't eat it and enjoy your last day." Which could have meant a number of things for Tim in that moment. Another thing they keep bringing up is that blender that everybody's been talking about. I feel like they're trying to lead us in a direction, but that's not the true path. I know a lot of people think that he's going to just try to take out the whole family. I don't think it's going to work in the way that he thought it was going to work though. Because he might be able to pull this on Victoria, but he's not going to be able to pull that on Saxon. Saxon has been very alert these few days. And then he could possibly take out himself, but I don't see it because there was another scene in the episode where he says, "I love you so much." And I'm thinking he's going to tell them what's been going on. And he seems like he has some kind of support because somebody touched him on the shoulder in a gentle way. Now, the only other people that could have been touching him like that is the authorities tapping him on the shoulder saying, "All right, you got to say your goodbyes. Let's go." Maybe Victoria actually was playing dumb this whole time and turns him in. Remember, Victoria said, "At this big age, I am not meant to live an uncomfortable life. So if that means I got to turn you in so I get to keep the house and a little bit of money, she's going to do it." And he's been acting weird and not saying anything to her. You think somebody didn't call her phone? Because rich people like to talk. Now, you think that the FBI just going to show up to your office and nobody in your circle knows about this? With Victoria's attitude, I wouldn't be surprised if she had a nemesis. And the nemesis caught wind of what was going on with Tim and his company and just left a whole voicemail for Victoria. It was like, "Hey, babe, I heard your man had a few little run-ins with the Phoebe and the Alphabet Boys kicked in all the doors of his office. Is everything okay? I just wanted to check on you." Probably just burn Victoria up. So she would definitely have to call him and work out a deal. And she probably wouldn't be able to go home because that's embarrassing. What she's going to have to stay there and do is get one of those elder men that she was trying to judge that woman for dating. And I bet she's going to be begging to get one of those little Ruperts or whatever. So then you get to Piper. And if there's a house to go back to, Piper's going to be at it. I think she was trying to defy them and show that she was something different. But at every turn, even after they found out she lied, they still supported her. Tim was like, "The guy seems legit." Lachlan said, "I could stay the night with you." Even decided he could take a gap year and stay there with her. And like I said before, I hope this isn't some kind of petty thing where she's like, "Well, this was supposed to be my thing. And now that you're kind of trying to do it, I don't really want to do it now." I mean, do you want your family to be better? Speaking of Lachlan, he's out here trying to work out some demons. So of course he wants to stay over at the monastery because he does not want to deal with Saxon. That man said, "I don't want to go home ever," but they're going to have to see each other on the last day. And it was good that he stayed overnight with Piper because that allowed Saxon to kind of process more about what happened the night of the full moon party. Now, I originally said that this was going to be a situation that was pivotal in Lachlan's life, but I think the full moon party night actually affected Saxon more. And then you add Chelsea into the mix and she's like calling him out all the time. She's like, "This is the kind of person you give off." Like he said, "I'm not that kind of man." She's like, "Yeah, you are." I said she was here for Rick and Saxon though, because she keeps pulling his card and it's sort of making him think about what kind of person he actually is. Because he's like, "I could be something else. I could be something different." You can tell he's different because he's not trying to jump in everybody's bed now. Had this happened at the beginning of the season, he would have been all up in Chloe's bed. What probably turned Saxon off the most about that situation and the story that Chloe was telling him was the fact that it was kind of incest related. And that probably made him think back to what happened to him on the boat. Now, out of the Ratliff family, I only see two that could fit the description of that body that's floating in the water, based on hair as well as build, and that's Tim and Saxon. And I don't see either one of them being in that water. So I'm gonna take both of them off the board. And even if you want to look at the body bag, you can tell that there's a difference in size. So I know that that can't be Lachlan either, because he's a very slim man. So then we get over to Rick and Chelsea. And Rick shows back up to the hotel even though the block is hot. The block is hot, hot, hot. I mean, Rick must be terrible at planning because one, he didn't give his friend a script when they went over there to talk to Shatala and Jim at their house. And two, you should have taken your girl with you so y'all could just get right on the plane and leave. You can't just push an elderly man over and get away with it. And of course they coming back to the hotel because they know where you are. And you shall be summoned to their quarters. The only thing that's going to save his life is the fact that that's his daddy. Or they know where your daddy is. And you could have found this information out had you just chilled out and let this man talk, because you walked in the den on 385 already. And then when you sat down and you started talking to the man, you were already at about 420. So by the time you said your mom's name, you done hit broil and turned on every last one of them burners. Meanwhile, Jim is an elder. It take a little bit of time. This man is about to preheat his oven. He was like, her name is what? So he done turned the thing on. He didn't even hit 350. You was like, hurry up and talk. The man might not even known that he had a son. Then you run in there talking about who your mama is. And he was like, hold up. Now, does she have a sister named Shirley? He could have been like, she was a good time. Them folks back in the day were like condoms.
Latex condo. Boy, I'd like to live in one of those.
What is that? All I'm saying is, had you just chilled out for a little bit, you might have gotten better information, maybe even better closure. So now that you're getting called into the principal's office, we gonna see what they're talking about. And then we talking about Chelsea, and Chelsea is cool. I like her character a lot. She's one of my faves. But the thing about her is, she feels like she can fix him. That's some naivete. Generally, people change when they want to change. If he doesn't want to do it, there's nothing you can do to change that. Now, I understand that you're not afraid of birds, but you got to make sure that you light Rick's fire in the way that he lights yours, because you got to make sure that man is worth it, because he put you in harm's way a number of times, including this moment, because a decision you made over in Bangkok could have easily found its way over to the Lotus. And they were all smiles when they met up on the beach. So maybe at this point, hope is going to win against pain and they will live happily ever after. I actually want that for them. And I can say that because I don't think either one of them will be in the water at the end. Now, Rick's shirt looked real close. So I was like, maybe. But then I looked at the hair and I was like, man, his hair is like thinning a little bit. So I don't see it on the person in the water. Also, the build looks a little bit bigger. And then we get to the plastics. So I don't have much to say about them. What I will say is one of them might get snatched up as a potential hostage or a shield due to the fact that people see them as rich and possibly as valuable, especially Jacqueline. And the situation that takes place at the hotel will actually bond them as friends, because I haven't seen them as friends most of the season. So then we get to Gayuk, and I believe that Gayuk is going to go straight to Pelek and report what he saw at that Muay Thai fight. He's going to tell him who the robbers were, which will blow Valentine's cover. And when he's confronted, he's probably going to take up arms and he's going to take a hostage. And he's probably going to grab one of the plastics, or Mook. And if he grabs Mook, you know, Gayuk don't play about her. Even if they're not girlfriend and boyfriend and they just friends, he's not playing. Which is probably why we see him running with the gun in the preview. And y'all gonna quit playing with my man talking about he gonna shoot Mook with the gun by accident. Absolutely not. Just because he doesn't want to do it doesn't mean he's not a natural at it. So the question is, who is this body in the water? I don't see this happen for any other women characters, just based on the hair color and the length alone. And I was also trying to look at the top to see who it was. I was looking real close at people's clothes. So I was looking at the top that Gayuk and Pelek were wearing, and I was like looking for that shoulder piece in the water. I said, I don't see it. And then I was like, what is Valentine wearing? What is Saxon wearing? Pretty much all the men with similar hair length as well as build. And the only one I didn't see in the trailer is Pornchai. So I essentially narrowed it down to 3 people. It's Pornchai, Gayuk, and Valentine. I don't think Gayuk will be harmed at all. And Pornchai makes sense if he comes to help Belinda. But I'm really narrowing it down to one person, and I think that's Valentine. That part of the story makes sense. And that's my pick. So what do y'all think? Do y'all have any theories that I didn't bring up in this video? Please share your thoughts below. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.